Lucy, it's video day. War Thunder sponsored this video.
They paid my bills.
Sorry, what? TCG Pocket, the biggest, baddest Pokemon app since Magikarp Jump. They revealed it in the Pokemon Direct last year, and I was like, eh. Whenever I talked to my friend Toby, he'd be like, yeah, this TCG Pocket thing is gonna be a big deal. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I didn't really understand the point because there's always been an online client for the Pokemon TCG. Pokemon TCG Live or Pokemon Trading Card Game Online for the real OGs. You know, the one with the real funky, not remotely Pokemon art style. I still have hundreds of these code cards and I don't know what to do with them. But it starts to make a bit more sense when you realize that neither TCG Online nor Live were ever released in Japan, and these code cards only ever been a thing for us Westerners. So for Japanese peeps, i.e. the main audience the Pokemon Company are wanting to cater to, this is their first online version of the card game, so yeah, kinda a big deal. I've always primarily been a collector when it comes to Pokemon cards, so let's see if this game can scratch that same itch. It does. Yeah, nothing quite beats pulling your own shiny cardboard and seeing the explosion of pretty colors as it's lit up, but TCG Pocket comes close. Opening a booster pack is still super satisfying. And yes, I know that's literally the point. The way it feels, the sounds are engineered to tickle your brain in exactly the right spot, and it very much works. When I started, there were 5 expansions to pick from: Genetic Apex, which is mostly Gen 1 stuff, Mythical Islands, Space-Time Smackdown, Triumphant Light, and then Shining Revelry. I downloaded the game just as a shiny set was released. It was meant to be. You get to open 2 packs a day, and then you have these things called pack hourglasses, which will speed up the timer, letting you open more packs. The packs come in a sort of carousel. You get to select whichever one you want, so when you get a super duper rare, it's like, whoa, I knew I picked the right pack. Except it's basically confirmed that all the packs are the same. When you get something good in a pack, you can get a sneak peek of it when you see something shiny at the bottom of the card stack, or you can rotate the little stack to see it from the side. Very authentic to a real opening where you see that little sliver of shiny stuff and get all excited. If you don't want to be spoiled, you can even open them in reverse by twisting the booster pack around. Very nice little touch. Each pack has 5 cards. 3 of those cards are guaranteed to be the most common rarity, the single diamond, but the other 2 can be anything. 2 diamond cards are basically your uncommons, 3 diamonds are holos, and then 4 diamonds are your EXs. Then there's stars. 1-star cards are just art rares of non-EX cards in the set. 2-star cards are full arts of EXs and trainers. 3 stars are the immersive cards, and there's 1 big bad rare per set. The crown rare, which is a gold card. There's a thing of myth called a rare pack, which is 1 in every 2,000 packs, where every card is a full art or better. I sadly did not find one. Another way to get cards is by wonder picking. These are an updating selection of packs opened by other players, and you randomly pick out one of the 5 cards. Like packs, how often you can do these is run on a cooldown timer and your wonder hourglasses. Woo. I find it's best to just stockpile them though and save the picks for EX cards that you're likely to play or 2-star rarity cards. I've seen them a good few times, but with it being 1 in 5, usually it ends in sadness and 4 fewer wonder pick stamina. Stuff like immersives or gold cards don't appear at all in wonder picks, so don't look for them. The artwork is a mixture of old and new. The commons and uncommons that make up the bulk of the set use assorted art from real cards, but then all the actual stuff you want, the EXs, illustration rares, shinies, all of them, totally new art. I find myself very impressed because there are some cards that really could have gotten away with reusing art. Lots of the baby shinies in Shining Revelry have actual physical shiny cards, but they still have new art. I mean, the most likely explanation is that they probably couldn't reuse assets because a lot of these cards have the 3D effect, so they probably needed to be made from the ground up, but hey, I'm a sucker for pretty art, I like it. Over the years, there have been hundreds of special art cards that they could have easily reused, but so far they haven't. I don't have an issue with art being reused for the commons. I collected pretty avidly in years past, so I recognize loads of the art. That Cottonies from Ancient Origins, that Drifloons from Steam Siege, that Eevees from Sun and Moon Base. Oh, and that Weedles from the XY Kalos starter set. Extra obscure point, very nice. Plenty of the commons and uncommons do use new art though, so it's a good mixture. They've been releasing an expansion around once a month, so if it speeds up how often they're able to add new content to the game, I don't see an issue with it. But look, this new artwork is something else. I gotta showcase some of my favorites. In the good vibes category, we have this Meryl just chilling with his buddies. There's Weasel in a little water study room, and the soft watercolors in this Venus or Pisa. Nice. In the cool concepts category, there's this Weavile EX alt art where they're stalking a swine up from up in the tree. I could only dream of being able to draw in perspective this well. I don't know how to describe it, but this Heatran is so satisfying to look at. This Aerodactyl is drawn in the style of a treasure map, which fits nicely with it being a fossil and all. There's the wow, these just look beautiful category. Cresselia, Spiritomb, Giratina, Regigigas, Unknown, Combi, Dragonite, Gastrodon. The list goes on. And then there's the Wigglytuff category. If, like me, you've noticed just how vibrant some of these are, you're not imagining it. Physical Pokemon cards have all sorts of beautiful holofoil patterns and textures, but they are held back by being physical cards. They need to be made in a CMYK color format. And though you wouldn't know it by looking at the cards, this does limit how vibrant the colors can be and can make it appear comparatively dull. But for TCG Pocket, they're not held back by this, so they can go full RGB. A fun way to see where the artwork is from is to put it into Photoshop and toggle between CMYK and RGB. If it barely changes, then it was probably made for an actual physical card, like this Riolu here. But when you do it with a card that was made for TCG Pocket, you can see just how much of a difference there is, especially with the blues. It's not a for sure way of telling. Some artists still work with CMYK friendly color palettes, but you'll generally find that the new cards are just crazy colorful. As we touched on, these cards have all sorts of 3D effects. I played a bit of Marvel Snap a year or two ago, which had a similar feel. That game uses the phone's gyroscope for its 3D effects. Very fancy looking cards, but it drained the battery like crazy. TCG Pocket's cards are flat artwork most of the time until you move them around, and that's when the magic happens. Some of this art is, well, out of pocket. It's just beautiful. The EXs really jump out of the card, the holofoil behind it and all the little shimmers being on separate layers to really give it depth. Shinies are covered in sparkles, and the full arts are even more extreme. It's pretty incredible what they can do with what is still 2D art. One of the rarest kind of cards you can get are called immersives. When you look at them in your gallery, you can long tap on them to immerse yourself in this little animated scene. They're beautiful and so intricate. Like, you could take a snapshot of any of these scenes and make it into a separate card. I love this sick MC Escher looking Palkia. I managed to get the Giratina one. It looks like something straight out of Madoka Magica with all the stop motion scenery. I just love it. My one pet peeve is that the cards don't have set numbers. Well, they do in your collection, but there's nothing on the actual card, so when you're playing against someone and they use a card that you don't have, there's no way to know what set it's from. As you would expect in any free-to-play game, the beginning of the game is full of merriment and wonder. Constantly leveling up, completing the starter missions, you get swamped with hourglasses and rip pack after pack after pack. I opened mostly Shining Revelry because I wanted the shinies. I just gave no thought whatsoever to the actual usefulness of the cards. Shiny go brrr. Pack RNG is weird, man. I just wanted the baby shinies. I got a Charmander pretty early on, but I then found 5 of the 2-star EX shinies before I found another one. Or why this game seems intent on giving me tons of this 1-star Golden Go, but I can only find like 2 of the regular EXs. I got the immersive Giratina, I got the only gold card, but I can't get me a Machamp Holo. What is this? Gacha be gacha though. It's all gacha. Even real packs are gacha, except this time you don't have the option to just skip the random chance and go get singles from eBay. Oh wait, never mind, people are literally selling them there. This is obviously against terms of service, I would not recommend, but imagine card acquisition being awkward enough that people are willing to go to eBay. Yeah, it better be free postage. I tell a lie, there is a way to get cards directly. It has a point system. Each pack gains you 5 pack points for that particular set, which you can then use to just buy the cards directly. But you need a pretty ludicrous amount of points to really get anything decent. Like hundreds of packs worth. The card that costs the most is the gold card of the set for 2,500 pack points, or 500 packs worth. For anyone free to play, you're talking actual months worth of opening only that set. So once I'd done all the achievements and I was at a higher level, the hourglasses dried up and I had no packs left to open. What do you mean I'm gonna go from opening like 20 packs a day to 2? You can't do this to me, DNA. You wanna know how you can get an extra pack? Go on, tell me how. The Premium Pass. The Premium Pass. It's free for 2 weeks. This is exactly what happened with Pokemon Sleep. When I don't bother to cancel it, it's not so free anymore. I am the exact kind of consumer this thing was made for. My stingy side and my executive dysfunction were just at war with each other. Guess which one wins? So I might be losing the war with my brain, but at least I'm winning in War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made and is now available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. There's over 2,500 different tanks, planes, helicopters, ships to cause mayhem with, ranging from 1920s armored cars to present-day tanks. The realistic graphics and sounds are a real treat for any fans of military history. One of my favorite features is the customization. You can give your tank a face, or maybe it's your tank's birthday. Make it feel special with a cake. And an anime girl, just like they did back in the day. There's a worldwide community of over 70 million players just waiting for you to join them in epic PvP battles. Wait, isn't my cousin one of them? Hey, have you played War Thunder? Please give me your best explanation of what the game is. Military vehicle combat game. Okay, I'm gonna need a little more detail than that. It's the best game I've ever played, actually. Literally amazing in every way imaginable. Never felt better. Convinced me of the presence of a loving god. Well, there you have it. If you sign up using my link down below, you can get yourself a very large, you might even say massive, bonus pack. If you're a new player, or a returning one after more than 6 months on PC and consoles, it'll give you goodies like 100,000 lions that are silver, 7 days of a premium account, and the head of a bird to put on your tank. Thank you to War Thunder for giving me some Queen Elizabeths and for supporting the channel. Now on the topic of monetary support, let's talk about Pokegold. So you get a crumb of Pokegold every time you level up, but it is the paid currency of this game. 6 bars of this stuff will get you 1 booster pack or 1 Wonder Pick stamina. It depends on the bundle, but at its cheapest, so buying the biggest bundle, it averages out at 87 cents per booster pack when opening with Pokegold. At its worst, it's $1.20, but for that you just have to keep buying it in lots of 5 for $1 just over and over. But by comparison, the extra pack a day you get from the premium pass beats out all these bundles by a very significant margin. Nearly 3 times cheaper, they really want you to get the premium pass. There is a daily limit to how much gold you can use to open packs, so $100 worth a day. Which, hey, I think it's good that there's a system that's like, hey dude, you've spent $100 today trying to get that full art Misty. Maybe you should chill out. But whales are still gonna whale. That is the reality of Gacha. Like, you could spend 5 days trying to get that Misty, or for the same amount of money, you could get the new Nintendo Switch 2 with the Mario Kart World Bundle. Or you could be like me and get it for free from Nintendo. Love you, Nintendo, you're the best. I have had a lot of fun streaming it on my Twitch channel. I do like how Pocket touches into the culture of card collecting. You can make custom binder collections. I got this binder for all my rarest guys, one for my shinies, and this one has Oddish in it. He likes his privacy. You can play decks with different sleeves, playmats, build up a coin collection, even display boards. Like, they got everything short of PSA grades. I was excited to hear that there is a trading system. Maybe I'll actually be able to complete a set. Or I could make another account, get a bunch of good cards, and trade them to myself for commons. No, DNA absolutely thought of that. You can only trade equivalent rarities, so holo for holo, EX for EX, and so on. Which is fair enough. It prevents my little scheme, but it also prevents people from getting scammed. Yeah, I'll trade you my full art Celebi for, let's see, 5 regular EXs. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just give you some of my Weedles. And then when we're done, you'll get the Celebi. So I went to my collection to see what I could trade away. I got so many duplicates: Shiny Charmander, Charizard, Beedrill, Giratina, Immersive. Even being able to trade solely equivalents is great because then I can get loads of stuff I don't have. Everyone's a winner. So let's trade. What are these? Trade stamina? Oh, it's like the packs and Wonder Picks. They have the hourglass thingies and it makes you wait ages for them to refill. Annoying, but fine. And these? Trade tokens? Wait, I can only trade up to regular EXs? Why? Everything else is just locked off even when I have duplicates? What am I supposed to do with them? But they're literally the best, most coolest cards. Are you saying if I want a complete set, I have to open all of them from packs? Right, yeah, this is a mobile game. It seems trade tokens are pretty universally hated as well. They only came into the game in January, but the Pokemon Company put out a statement a few weeks ago saying that they're gonna be gone by the summer and replaced by Shine Dust. Great, thumbs up, a good use for the 36,000 Shine Dust I have not touched. Now can I please trade my actual rare cards? No? Okay. I opened almost exclusively Shining Revelry, so I do have a few duplicate EXs, which is a tradable rarity. There's a ton I'm missing still, so let's fill up those binder pages. Let's give this barrel a new home. Why? I mean, I know why, but come on, DNA. Like, you've already got 2 other limitations to how you can trade anyway. Do you really gotta do me like this? I thought this was the Pokemon trading card game. I've been misled. So yeah, seems you're not allowed to trade anything from the most recent set. And that's the only set that I have duplicates from because I opened so much of it, but now I'm being punished and not allowed to trade any of it. This is a limitation that goes away once the next new set comes out, but it seems like they're determined that no one get even close to completing the current one before that. The actual trade system definitely needs work. As it is, it only really functions if you're in direct contact with someone and you know what you're trading for in advance, otherwise it's just way too clunky. You offer up a single card to someone, you have no idea if they want it. If they happen to like it, they can offer you one back. Who knows what it'll be? Does anyone remember GTS negotiations in black and white? That was 2010, and it was a way better system than this. Like, the only real communication that took place there was the other person spamming sad faces when they didn't like what you were offering, and that was still better. I think a better way to do it would be if you could provide multiple choice, or if there was a way to view a player's wish list, so you know whether or not to even bother offering them anything. Or actual card wonder trades. You put up a card and someone somewhere trades you any card of the same rarity back. TCG Pocket actually retains the language on the card when you trade with people, so it'd be a really cool way of accumulating a collection. I would legit do 1,000 Wonder Trades video on that, it'd be sick. Somehow get 1,000 Magnemite cards. I don't currently have 1,000 cards total, so that might be a challenge. I don't see them ever doing this. Even just for your commons, I'm sure that'd fill up the card decks way too quickly for DNA's liking. But surely there's gotta be some use for these duplicate full arts and stuff. Well, if you get enough, you can spend some shine dust. Oh yeah, this is what it's actually for. You get it when you get cards. You'll end up with tons of it. And you trade them in for these cool effects. I think it's kind of fun for your common cards that you have loads of, but I think it's never really worth it for your rare stuff. Like, I need 3 of this Giratina card total, and to get some sparkles on it, I gotta lose one of them. And it costs 100 times the shine dust of a regular card? What? Who is doing this? I could also trade it in for more trade tokens, yay. Or a bunch of special shop tickets. This is probably the best option because they're really hard to get otherwise and can be used for stuff like sleeves, coins, playmats, but let's be real. No one is trading in an immersive for any of this. None of it is worth destroying your collection for. Like, I totally get having some sort of reward system for duplicates. Maybe even still charging a bunch of shine dust to unlock all the cosmetics. But having to yeet the rarest cards in your collection just so you can put a few sparkles on one of them is kinda wild. So armed only with the cards I'd pulled from packs, I made some decks. I started by playing against all of the solo battle decks because they give you a ton of experience and hourglasses, and my dopamine receptors were hungry for more packs, so I blitzed through all of them. But doing this helped me get the gist of things and figure out the actual game. I know there are rental decks you can use, but I never bothered with them and just made a deck for each type out of the cards that I pulled. It helped that I was pretty lucky and got some good stuff. They only just introduced a proper ranked mode shortly before I started playing. So there's a bunch of ranks. The higher you rank, the more hourglasses you get at the end of the season. And you get a cool emblem to flex on your fellow players. I don't know if I have room in my big brain for more TCG. I've been to a few pre-releases and they're good fun, but I've never really been a player of the Pokemon cards. I've actually had a non-Pokemon hobby this past year or so. Wild, I know. I've been super into Lorcana, the Disney card game. This is in no way sponsored, by the way, I'm just very into it. Disney and Ravensburger have even let me sneak into their office a few times and give me free stuff. They're very cool. Last time I was there, I came second in a quiz they did and got a booster box. Be proud. I've been going to set championships and I'm gonna get a champion playmat this time, I swear. But anyway, back to Pocket. So the matches in Pocket are very much simplified from their physical counterpart. For one, energy cards aren't a thing. A little ball of energy generates every turn instead. Which, yeah, that's nice. With the amount of times I play at pre-releases and just get complete brick hands turn after turn drawing into all of my energy cards. In a physical game, you have a deck of 60 cards, 6 of which get put face down as prize cards. When you knock out a Pokemon, you get to claim one of said prize cards, and if you get all of them, you win the game. TCG Pocket decks are way smaller at only 20 cards, and they don't have any prize cards, you just play until you reach 3 points. But the format is more or less the same, just smaller. In a regular game, you can have up to 6 Pokemon in play at any one time, but in Pocket, it's been cut down to 4. At the beginning of the game, you do something called a mulligan, which is basically just reshuffling and redrawing your hand until you get a basic Pokemon you can play. TCG Pocket doesn't have mulligans because it's actually rigged so that you end up with a basic Pokemon in your opening hand every game. It changes the way you make deck lists because if you can be guaranteed one of your main EXs right away, often you'll come up against decks that have literally 2 Pokemon in them and then the rest is just trainer and item cards. Weaknesses are now just plus 20 instead of a 2x multiplier, which makes sense because games would be over way too quickly otherwise. Resistances are gone altogether and most cards only have one move. The advantages to going first or second are a little different too. TLDR, you almost always want to go second. Unlike in the physical card game, you can play supporters if you're going first, but you can't directly attach any energy, which is a huge hit for game tempo. Going first means you have the chance to evolve something sooner, but it's usually not worth the trade-off. Especially when a lot of decks are only using basic Pokemon anyway. Not getting that extra energy in early really puts you at a disadvantage. I slowly started to climb the ranks, but even in the lower ones it still seems like everyone has the top meta deck. I believe at the time I was making this video, the top deck had Giratina and Darkrai EX in it. The Giratina EX was actually a card I managed to get more than one of, so Giratina deck it is. Look, I'm not trying to be toxic, it's either that or Bibarel, and Bibarel sucks. Also, the 2 Giratina I got are the immersives. I didn't even get the regular version, so I'm not gonna not use them. Giratina is actually one of the few cards that, if anything, benefits from going first. Its ability lets you attach a psychic energy even on the first turn, so you're good to start wrecking stuff by turn 3. If you're up against another Giratina EX, you actually end up being able to attack first. Yeah, I can see why people use this card. There were a couple of matches where I got Giratina out first and was setting it up all nicely, and then my opponent just concedes on turn 2, like, I'm not dealing with this shit again. I have a soft spot for the Wigglytuffs. It's not that powerful, but the attack puts the opponent to sleep, and I have cheesed a good few matches this way. The holo is actually pretty decent too. It's just a consistent heal 20 damage every turn. It's actually come in clutch for me quite a few times. The most off-meta thing I've used is probably the Drifblim. I don't tend to use stuff like Leaf or X-Speed, and I like that it doesn't have a retreat cost. A lot of the time I panic when my active Pokemon gets knocked out or I get hit with a Sabrina, and the Drifblim sort of mitigates that. I can essentially just take it back straight after. I'm sure meta people are probably shaking their heads right now. Hey, I used to run Swoobat, but I rightfully took it out and placed it right in the bin. When the set after Celestial Guardians came out, it didn't really change what I was playing that much. I ended up just having 2 of the regular Wigglytuff instead of the EX. Oh, and there's a new card that's just immune to EXs. Just this little Oricorio here. He spits at your Charizard Incineroar deck. You cannot stop him. I was never really huge on Pom-Pom or Oricorio. Bally and Sensu are just cooler. But this dumb card has given me a newfound appreciation for him. Luck is definitely a large factor in these matches. Of course, you've got the initial coin flip to start the game. Some Pokemon have attacks like Flipper Heads to deal more damage, but there are some wild trainer cards. Like say you're up against a water type deck. Turn 1 someone sets up an Articuno EX, all fine. Then they play Misty. Choose one of your water Pokemon and flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to that Pokemon. Yeah, there's no limit to this. The most I've ever seen is 9 heads in a row. If that happens, you just concede. I like Team Rocket Grunt. It's basically the same concept except you discard energy from your opponent. I feel like it works way less than 50% of the time, but when it does, it's a good feeling. I have had many matches where my opponent just concedes on me after that, which is completely fair. My least favorite card is probably Cyrus. He switches any damaged Pokemon from your bench with your active Pokemon. Now I'm all strategic with my switches, I'm about to clinch the win, and Cyrus is like, "Where do you think you're going?" Then I lose. I know it's petty, but when I realize I'm about to be beat, it is vitally important that I'm able to get the concede button to go through right before I lose. It's the one bit of power I can take back. Hey look, at least I'm not a rage quitter, okay? Sometimes when you're about to win, the opponent will just disconnect. It still counts as a win, but it makes you wait the full 90 seconds before the game kicks him out and declares you the winner. Like, that's next level petty. Oh, you can't handle that my little wiggles beat you, so you gotta close the app and never shulk. Oh. I honestly never expected to get this much out of the competitive side of it. Frankly, and I don't mean this in a downer way, but I never thought that I was smart enough for card games, but between this and my Disney card game stuff, I'm having a really good time. I definitely take very long turns though, so if you've ever played Lorcana or Pocket against me, I'm sorry. So do I switch out my Jigglypuff and then go straight into Giratina with red so I can one-hit KO the Moltres? Nah, they're probably just going to evolve the Charmeleon they have on the bench and the Charizard next turn, so me doing that just gives them a free switch in to take out my Giratina. Now the best play has to be to attach energy. Oh, but it also depends what Charizard they're using. I'd probably sacrifice the Giratina if they're using the one from Genetic Apex, because that one has a move for 200 damage, which I can then copy using my Muse Genome Hacking attack, which would take it out in one go. But if it's a Shining Revelry one, then that attacks are only 150 damage when it has 180 HP, so if I use Genome Hacking then, it wouldn't be a one-hit KO. Oh, if I draw my Rocky Helmet, I could have attached that to the Giratina so that when it dies it'll inflict 20 damage on the Charizard, and I pray I draw my other copy of red so I can use Muse attack with red to add 20 extra damage, which would one-hit KO it. Oh, and I'm out of time. I even managed to get my partner addicted to it somehow, and we constantly one-up each other with our rank positions. I made it to Great Ball level 3. Shut up, you've literally casted card games for a living. Not exactly a level playing field. Just sounds like a skill issue, doesn't it? Sounds weird, but it's actually the first big Pokemon thing we've shared together. The more recent games aren't really his thing. We experience them differently. I look at the new games and I'm like, that's a cat stuck in a door. Anyway.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
So yeah, even though Pokemon has been my whole life, we've never actually played it together. But Pocket has genuinely been quite a lot of wholesome fun. And I think for most people that's where it's best left. Wholesome fun. You open up enough packs at the beginning of the game that you more than likely can shamble something decent together and take on ranked, which is where the vast majority of the hours I plunged into this game have been spent. If that's not something you enjoy, then you're probably not going to spend too much time in the game at all, really. Maybe log in every now and then to open packs, check Wonder Pick, and that's about it. But I gotta put my hours in. I gotta get to Master Ball rank. As of writing the script, I'm at Ultra Ball 1, but I will be at Master Ball by the time this video's up. Right, future Lucy? Yup. Thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring. You can play it for free now on PC, console, or mobile using my link below. New or returning players within 6 months get a big bonus pack with premium vehicles and more, limited time only. Okay, bye!